Yeah, so it was probably around about over 18 months ago now, wasn't it? The hardware team approached us and said they really wanted to produce a limited edition controller for Forza Horizon 5, and obviously we were like, yes.
Absolutely.
Now, we really love how it's come together. It just brings so much vibrancy and colour. It just feels like it's a little piece of the Horizon Festival that's like plopped out of the screen and landed in your lap. Those people who purchase the controller will also get some exclusive DLC.
Which I did.
Part of that is the Forza Edition Ford Coupe.
It's already on pre-ordered. Already got it. It's coming on the 15th.
A real
Yeah.
just like the controller. So these are the 3 cars you can choose from at the start of the game. First up is the Chevrolet C8 Corvette. The car looks absolutely stunning. The insane grip that it manages to hold means it is like a really great car to start the game. It allows you to go super, super fast, but it basically never breaks traction. Next up, we have the Ford Bronco, one of our cover cars, basically the hottest SUV of the year. And then a car that I would say needs no introduction, but we gave it a pretty cool introduction 2 weeks ago on the previous Let's Go stream. But yes, it is the 2020 Toyota Supra GR.
We're going
And just in case I'm actually going to be definitely posting this on YouTube, so.
Yay! Yeah,
so we've taken part in the initial drive. We've just seen 4 separate cars drop out of the back of a cargo plane, and we thought, well,
just in case I already pre-ordered the game, pre-order the controller.
This is a showcase event in which
I'm excited.
we'll take on that cargo plane.
So yeah, we'll get a glimpse of the canyon, but we'll take a closer look later.
Whoa! What happened there?
Best thing ever.
Mike knew he was beaten. He knew he didn't have a chance, so he has switched to a wingsuit for the final stretch.
Oh wow! Oh, very good.
He probably had us beat if he was willing to face plant into the road there. He had to pull his chute, and that allowed
You have to make a choice at that point, don't you? Whether you want to win or whether you want to survive the race.
Yeah, it's got that Ford Tough DNA, hasn't it? So yeah, it's built for the road, built for off-road, built for doing work in it, built for chucking all your camping gear in the back or a jet ski or something.
Everyone's camping gear in the back.
Hopefully we stumble upon one of our ambient trucks or buses around the world so you can see just how big this thing is.
It is massive.
Yeah, it's a 6.7 litre diesel engine. It's got 1,000 foot-pound of torque, which is just insane. You could pull your whole
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get it.
Hello there and welcome to another episode of Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go, live with Playground Games. Today we're going on quite the epic adventure, the Horizon adventure in fact, but first,
Just in
let's
case.
do the schedule. So don't let this schedule fool you because there is a whole lot of new gameplay to see as Playground takes through the early stages of the single player campaign. And you might as well start limbering up those fingers to get your questions into chat for another round of Q&A. In fact, here's a tip. There's a better chance we'll actually see your question if you start typing it now during the show instead of saving it until the end. So get your questions in chat now, everybody. And with that said, I think it's time to welcome today's wonderful guests. Hello, how are you doing? First up, we've got Mike Brown. It is always wonderful to see you. But first of all, what is this new location? Hello, how are you? What's going on?
Hey Charlie, great to be here. This is actually not a new location. This is actually the Forza Horizon offices. It's just up until this point we've been doing our Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go streams from the Fable office on the other side of Leamington Spa. The reasons for that are boring. We won't get into those. But yeah, this is actually the Forza Horizon office. This is where we actually make the game.
We're in the home of Forza now, and joining you on the sofa today is the lovely Ben Fakerfeld.
Ooh, with the sim racing, let's go!
So today we're going to be doing a deep dive on the single-player campaign for Forza Horizon 5. Really excited to show that off. We're going to talk about the kind of main goal of it, how it works mechanically. We're going to get stuck in, unlock some stuff, and just kind of talk our way through it. Really exciting stuff.
I can't wait. And lastly, you may have seen a glimpse of him then, but we do have Marco Conti joining us, who seems to have leveled into a full rig just for this show. How are you doing, Marco? Is that a flex on Andy, by the way, I have to say?
Hi, Charlie. Pleasure to be here. This is actually my desk. So today I'm going to be talking
This is actually my desk? That's hilarious.
I'm going to talk about what we improved in the handling for Forza Horizon 5.
I can't wait. And I feel like I have to ask, purely based on his performance on the last stream, between you and Andy, who would win in a race? Real talk.
I'm going to say him, but I'm lying. So It's fine.
Right, you had me in the first half. Wonderful. Well, as I said on the last show, if you were able to catch it, we showed the initial drive and the very first showcase event. So we're going to set the scene now. Today, we're going to be playing on the Xbox Series X as always, but where are we jumping in first?
Yes, so the show 2 weeks ago, we saw the very, very start of the game. We saw that initial drive, and we saw the first showcase event that takes after that. There is actually a Horizon story chapter that you do after that, which we're not going to jump in today. We're going to pick up right after that and look at the campaign and what happens after that and all the great things that you will get to experience as you play through Forza Horizon 5.
I can't wait.
Ben, should we jump in?
Yes. So, but first, we are going to look at the campaign. I've got a controller. I'm going to walk through things. But let me talk about the setup first. Really, like, what is the campaign in Forza Horizon 5? So, its name, nice and simple, Horizon Adventure. And that's exactly kind of how we think about it internally. And I'm sure that's how players are going to really remember this one. It's all about freedom. It's all about the choice of doing what you want when you want. Previous kind of Horizon campaigns have said, you're going to do this gameplay now, road racing, because we think that's the best at this stage in the game. And now you're going to do some cross-country or some off-road, or we're going to introduce skills and stories. This campaign has kind of thrown most of that out of the window, apart from the kind of early setup that Mike spoke about. And it's largely said, you tell us what you want to do, and we'll give you the tools to kind of make that happen, but in a much more interesting way than we've maybe previously done. And the interesting way is the adventure. So I am going to go to a screen that kind of summarizes all of that. But just before I do, I will say, goal of the game in the Horizon Adventure is to get onto the Hall of Fame. The game doesn't end there.
Okay.
Tons and tons of content. And to get to the Hall of Fame, you have to earn something called accolades, and we'll go into those in a second. But let's have a look at the adventure screen really quickly, because this is one of my favorites. Look at that.
Oh,
how cool does that look?
Okay. Look at that.
That looks freaking amazing.
Here, but genuinely, that is incredible. I love it.
Tons and tons of fun. Loads going on. Let's have a quick walk through. I mean, I'm getting distracted. Balloons at the top.
I like this setup so much.
Cars.
We're really excited to see the game map. And we were like, yeah, we'll show you the game map.
That is insane.
We showed the game map
I mean, chat has just exploded with the words, it looks amazing, it's cute, they love it, so clean. So nice work from chat immediately.
I wonder,
hang on. So, let's have a look at what you can do. When I speak about going on an adventure and giving players the tools to, like, unlock the gameplay they want and tell us how they want to play through the campaign, this is exactly what I'm talking about here. We've got Horizon Baja. That's the home of cross-country racing. You unlock this, you unlock the cross-country racing. You'll unlock a ton of other gameplay opportunities as well. Not immediately with that. You'll have to kind of expand that outpost when you do. I can show you a good example. We've already built Horizon Festival Mexico. I mean, technically it was built when we arrived. We're not the architects of that. But let's have a look at the gameplay that's available there. So we've arrived at the festival site. We now have a nice tick for Welcome to Mexico. You've already seen and we took part in that amazing showcase On a Wing and a Prayer. Car versus plane, but with a twist. We know what the twist is now. And we can unlock a story called Vocho, which is finding and restoring a legendary car. Desperately not trying to unlock that right now because it is great. And the Goliath, right? What Horizon game is complete without an epic, many miles long race around the map? So you can do all of that at the main festival. And each one of those we call a new chapter. So earning enough accolades unlocks a new chapter, and I can choose to kind of spend my new chapter. Like my new chapter is going to be Vocho or it's going to be Goliath.
And the great thing about this is as we talk about this Horizon adventure, it's that every player really will have a pretty unique path through this game. And when you're talking to other people, it'll be like, oh, so which festival site did you open first? And you might say you've opened up the Apex Festival and you've gone and got stuck into road racing, and that will shape the way your game plays out for a decent length of time after that. But maybe I go to the Wilds Festival and I've gone all dirt racing, and again, that makes that next hour, 2 hours of my game completely different to yours. And the opportunities that come after that, because then I could go and unlock different showcase events, different Horizon stories because I've made that choice. It really does lead to this really sprawling, different split path gameplay that means everyone's adventure through the campaign will be different to each other's.
Yeah, and not just based on kind of choice of I really like road racing or I like dirt racing, but there's different ways that people like to play games as well. Some people, they'll want to open Horizon Apex, and then because they're kind of a completionist, they'll be like, well, I'm doing all of the content there before I move on. Whereas some other people they'll open Apex, then they'll open Wilds, then they'll open Baja, then they'll open Rush. It's kind of giving people the freedom, and we deliver it with this awesomely cute, adorable map. So I think
See
we're
if I
going
can
to go
put it on there.
and I think we're going to open a new outpost, right? That's the plan.
That's the plan, but we're not there yet. We have to get some accolades first,
Yes.
right? You mentioned accolades. What are accolades, Ben? I don't know. I'm sure Charlie doesn't know either. Tell us what they are.
I don't know either. Actually, no, I do know. So let's go through
Mike,
that. Right.
I hope you know what they are.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone here knows. Marco?
Hands up, I do know what accolades are. So as you can see at the top of the screen there, it tells us how many we need to earn for our next chapter. So we're going to go into the accolades menu, and we are going to see tons of categories, and really importantly, thousands of accolades. Caveat here, we're not asking the players, and we don't expect players to complete every single accolade in the game. What we are saying is, whatever you like to do, there'll be a good collection of accolades for you. It might be that you like to do a bunch of racing, and you like to do some PR stunts and some skills as well. It might be that you like to do just kind of online stuff, and we've got a whole bunch of categories in there. That's the kind of beauty of accolades, and they extend beyond the campaign. So once you've reached the Hall of Fame, so you've unlocked everything on the adventure map, and you might think, oh, what else is there to do? Accolades are this beautiful way of having this collection of bite-sized challenges that let you kind of mop up the things that you still haven't done and just extend your game. And I think we'll extend it in the ways we have done with Forza Horizon 4, where we're delivering new content on like a weekly and kind of monthly basis. These will plug into this really well.
Yeah, so it's not super clear as we look at the screen right now, but that little blue bar that you can see just creeping up on the Welcome to Mexico tile there, that is actually a progress bar that fills up and completes the whole thing and completes that whole page. As we stand right now, about half an hour into our campaign, you can see that it's basically all zeros and we haven't done anything yet. And it does at the start of the game fill up quite slowly, but once you've put in that sort of 6 to 10 hours, these all start to get quite near the top, and you're like looking at that Horizon Stories one, going, oh, I've only actually got a few left there, and it's super compelling to just go and finish that off and push them up to the top and fill up those bars.
Very Moorish.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great word for it.
So, Marco loves racing. Lives for racing. Marco fancies doing some racing. We'll have a look at racing.
Oh my God.
Oh no. Many locked accolades. And we need to go and build the Horizon Apex outpost. So let's go and do that. Welcome to Mexico is a nice small collection of kind of early game accolades. We have a few, like we've arrived at the festival. We can purchase a car from the auto show. We can also take part in a bunch of routes. If I select this one now, it will pin it to my HUD and set my route, and we can drive to go and do that. But before we kind of go back into game, I'm going to open the map just to explain that one of the main ways to play through a Horizon campaign is to go around and look at things on the map. And I think early campaign, we would expect many players to go through this is the kind of regular Horizon way. Map, piece of content, set your route there, take part in the content. What are you going to do next? Let's take part in this, and we'll go there and do it. But if I go back to free roam now, we can see that we have a pin, Horizon Mexico Circuit Rookie, complete Mexico Circuit, and I think we should head off and do it.
Let's go.
All right.
Take it away.
So Ben's put his controller down now. He's going to stop meddling with Marco's game and let Marco do some driving as we enter the Horizon Festival Mexico.
For this.
I don't know why we're not playing the game footage, but it looks great, guys. I bet you wish you could see the Horizon Festival Mexico.
I wish you could see how wonderful this game looks right now. Oh, there we go.
There we go. We've actually driven straight through the festival. Marco, do you want to do a UE? Go back and show everyone. I know it's taking a second to get the feed up and running there.
I'm ready.
Oh, Marco's saying no. He's going into the race.
Should we?
He just wants to know.
But yeah, let's go look at the festival because we didn't really get a chance to look at it.
Well, at the festival.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There was a little blip in the stream there where we didn't get the feed up in time. So.
And mute this one really quick because this one is actually more up there, really on there.
Your cars, you can show off your cool liveries.
It's a lot better quality.
And group up and go and do some racing. It's also built into an abandoned racing circuit. So all of this like sort of web of roads that you can see now is an awesome abandoned race circuit, or at least it was abandoned until Horizon Festival arrived to breathe fresh life into it. And now, Marco, I'll let you do it now, Marco. If you're going to go drive over to the start location for the Horizon Festival circuit.
You are released.
I'm going to get across the field.
Just straight
Yeah,
back
that's
there.
the only way. That's the best way.
Corvette in its natural habitat there, going across
absolutely fine.
the embankment.
It's a bit bumpy. There you go. Arrive there.
All right, and
I'm
here
ready for
is
race.
our target. This is where we're going to go and get accolades so we can start our adventure.
Yes. So this, I think, is going to become probably people's favourite kind of test track. This is where you're going to come to check out your brand new tunes, check out all your new cars, really put them through their paces for at least, I would say, about half of the cars in the game. All of the cars that are focused on road racing, street racing, asphalt surfaces, you're going to bring them here to kind of really put them through their paces.
Are we ready? Can we see
I think we're ready.
I think we're ready.
Yeah, I think we're ready. Any bets on where Marco's going to finish?
Well, he really struggled in rehearsal. So.
I know. do we admit that our finely tuned campaign balance requires a win? Otherwise,
the way that we have set this up for the demo purposes, yes.
No pressure,
anything
guys,
less than a win will actually really ruin the rest of the show, Marco.
You
So
did say you were better than Andy.
No pressure,
and
absolutely.
Andy won last stream, so I do think, you know, you owe us a win here, Marco.
He's so stressed out now.
As always, you are on a wheel. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah.
So, I think what we really did this time is actually investing and improving the wheel experience. And what we did is actually improving the handling and focusing on the force feedback code implementation to actually capture more details and create a whole new experience when you're driving with the wheel. And you can tell right now, I literally lost the back end, and the wheel told me immediately, and I could catch the car quite easily. By the way, I'm on simulation steering and traction control off, so just to make it a little bit tougher. And
Nice.
here we are. I can definitely feel everything that this car is doing. I feel connected with the road. I feel every single detail on the ground. And if I put a wheel on the off-road a little bit, oh, there you go. It feels immediately diverse. And that diversity is different across all cars, across all tires. And that's really important. Actually, really, really expand the experience and the engaging when you're driving with the steering wheel. And now, let's get back to the race, guys, because I'm still sixth, and apparently I've been told I got to win this race. So
gotta win.
got to put some effort in it. Oh, here you go. Another thing, the braking. The braking have massively improved. So we're now basically calculating the brake force based on how big the discs are, how many pots there are on the brake disc system. If it's a disc, if a ceramic disc, is a cast iron, is a drum disc. And we also improve a lot the way the ABS system works all up. So modern ABS now, rather than completely cut off the brake when a lockup is detected, actually mitigate and like ease off the brake so you can still preserve some brake pressure and reduce the brakes distance. But these guys are really giving me a challenge. And
They're giving you a
I
go,
really
aren't
need
they?
to close the gap. So now I need to focus, guys, because the Skyline ahead of me is definitely using some turbos. And I'm on an
Ask you some questions,
old-fashioned.
Charlie. Quiz him, Charlie.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? I'm going to go off a little bit here. I think there are a couple of people in chat who are asking, you know, you personally, Marco, if you have a preference of just playing on this camera, because I think some of them would be keen for you to change it. Obviously, I want you to thrive the best way you thrive, but do you have a preference for this camera over the wheel over others?
I do, actually. I do prefer to drive from this camera. I think you have a better indication of what the car is doing. But, you know,
That's true.
I follow many YouTubers. I'm sure they're following us right now. Bye. And yeah, I really actually, I'm impressed how, guys, you drive from follow cam. And yeah, touche.
It feels like you're in it.
prefer
That's
driving
what
from this
he's
camera,
trying to say, I
honest.
think.
These
But I
or
don't
the
know.
hood camera is actually another good option for driving with the wheel. You have you feel more connected with the car is doing.
Perfect. So you mentioned that you've improved the brake system. I have to ask, as someone who is sort of, I mean, when I play Forza, I'm very much on the off-road style of the racing and hooning around. So what improvements have you made to off-road handling?
Well, that actually is a very, very big topic. I think higher level, we improved both the suspension and the tires. For the suspension, we actually went to town and improved a lot about the preload spring force, but not only the progressiveness of the damper and the progressiveness of the bump stop as well. We actually have hydraulic bump stop.
It's like, nah.
Everything actually goes in really, really low amount of detail for what concerns the suspension for off-roading and rally as well. Another big improvement we've done to the off-road as a whole is actually we're now simulating the interaction with between the tires and all the different surfaces on the ground. that actually massively changed the way tires feel when you're off-road, depending on if you're on slick or if you're on rally tires or if you are on normal radial tires or bias ply. Every single tire's got a different reaction with the ground, and you can totally feel that through the pad, but now with the wheel as well.
Perfect. I love it. And talking of reactions, we did come second then. So what does that mean, guys in the studios? Are we able to progress?
Well, we had to do a little cheat while they weren't showing the game there, but that's okay.
That's okay. Sorry, guys.
I just wanted to call it out.
We are, however, now all good, and we're in a position where we can start our adventure.
Perfect. Okay.
So, I think we have a feeling where we want to go. There was a lot of...
Oh, Baja, okay.
Horizon Apex and road racing. Yeah, so let's talk about how we build an outpost. So we don't just select Horizon Apex here and then it just gets added to the world and all the race events are there. No, what we do is we undertake what we call an expedition towards this festival. So here we go. This expedition for Apex is a Tullum expedition, weather a storm on the road to Tullum. So we're going to start this, and we're going to have an expedition become available to us, which we are going to take part in with a little bit of a surprise twist, ideally. But what is an expedition? It's a really nice combination of kind of story and showcase-driven cinematic gameplay where you'll learn about the environment around you, you'll learn new things about Mexico, and kind of Ramiro will lead you towards the perfect destination for this outpost. So let's unlock that and head back into World.
All right, so we'll leave Marco behind the wheel there.
So Marco's on his way now.
Marco's got to drive 4 miles to go to the start of the expedition.
Gonna take
that's
while,
fine.
yeah.
I got tons of things I want to ask before we get there. So one thing I do want to know is, you know, it's a campaign, so you sort of have to ask the question of roughly how long you think the campaign might take for a player to finish. Obviously, I'm incredibly skilled, so I might be really, really quick. But what on average are we looking at?
So, because there are so many accolades, and you can do them in parallel, and earning accolades, as we kind of said, they control the speed of your experience. I think giving a really narrow estimate is difficult, but it's going to be somewhere between the 10 and the 20-hour mark for most players. There's 20 chapters to go through, so kind of 20 pieces of content, including the very end, the Hall of Fame, and they should take somewhere between an hour to half an hour each to unlock.
Interesting. Okay, and I want to go back to the accolades very quickly as well. I think it's worth calling out. There was so many in there, and I just want to be clear. Do you have to complete all of those to make it into the Hall of Fame, or is that more of a completionist style play?
Yeah, so you don't have to complete all of them. We don't expect players to complete all of them. Instead, our goal was to we wanted to make sure there were a good number of accolades for kind of every Horizon player, regardless of what you're into. So if you're into painting and you don't like a huge amount of the other content in the game, or it's not your kind of favorite, then there are a number of painting accolades. But we don't expect someone who never paints cars, who never kind of uploads designs or anything like that, to want to go and earn those accolades. It's fine if they do earn them. It's fine if you're the Horizon player who does everything, but it's not been designed in that way. You can earn the accolades that you want by doing the gameplay that you want, and that will give you enough currency to progress through the adventure, to reach those new chapters and unlock it in the order that you want. And
then you can go back and mop everything up afterwards, because all you want to do is keep playing.
Exactly. That's the really nice thing about accolades, is even when you've hit the Hall of Fame and you've unlocked kind of all of the like flagship pieces of content, so the stories, the showcases that Mike was talking about, the new outposts, accolades they make your job of looking at what's left in the game and deciding what should you do next really, really easy, because you might see a whole bunch of content and think, oh, I want to play some, but I don't know what to do. And then you look at accolades and it says, win all of this kind of piece of content over here. And you're like 90% of the way through. And that's like a really easy decision at that point.
Lovely. And I have to ask as well, going back to the exhibitions as well, what was the thought process behind sort of making those? Obviously, in the last one in fall, we had showcases and remixes and stuff like that. This is obviously a natural step up from that. So what was it like working on the exhibitions?
That is an interesting question.
It stemmed from Mexico, didn't it? It was when we settled on Mexico as the host location. When you go and and this sounds a bit silly, when you go look at the tourist board website for Mexico, they really sell this idea of going on an adventure and going exploring and going and living your next adventure in Mexico. That is a thing that Mexico as a country, Mexican people are really, really proud of about their country. And that was an experience that we thought, oh, how can we recreate that in the game? And we thought, well, we start off in one place of Mexico and we can kind of have people live out those adventures as they venture out into those different parts of Mexico. So yeah, there's a little bit of showcase in there. There's a little bit of Horizon story in there, but they are really their own brand new thing. And they are I think one of the most exciting bits of gameplay we've ever had. What's more fun about it as well is that, as with everything in the Horizon campaign, you can play it in co-op. And we're going to try and do that right now, which any game developers watching this right now will realize that attempting to do co-op online gameplay months before ship in development servers is high risk. But here we go. Ben, I've invited you to a convoy if you want to want to join along. Marco's already in.
I'm ready, yeah.
I'm
Marco
keen for
can see
this
me
chat.
there.
You'd better be kind.
I should be along any second.
Here we go.
There we go.
We're doing it. All right, so that'll take a few seconds to spin up the server. But yeah, all content in the game is playable in co-op, or all the campaign content at least. And unlike in Horizon 4, where getting into co-op with your buddies had some hurdles that you had to overcome in order to get there, we've really tried to make it so that you can play online, you can get into those online sessions as early in the game as possible. So you complete the initial drive that was on last stream, you complete that first showcase event, there's one Horizon story chapter you have to do after that, and then you're connected, you're playing online, you can team with your friends. It takes about, I guess that's about 25 minutes, maybe even a bit less than that.
Yeah.
And then you're teamed up, and from that point, you can team up with your buddies and take on the entire rest of the game together, including an expedition, as we are about to do right now.
Yeah, about to do flawlessly. This will just work perfectly.
It worked perfectly in our rehearsal.
Absolutely, will manifest it. It's going to be great.
Do you know? I think it's worth mentioning, like previous Horizon games, the co-op is drop in, drop out, and it doesn't have kind of any effect on the campaign in terms of you don't have to worry about shared progress or anything like that. You can play with other players, you can drop out, do some solo stuff, and all your accolades and all your progress and all of that just kind of ticks along nicely.
Here we go. Oh God.
Away we go.
Away we go. Yes.
Now we're all going to have to pay close attention now, and there's.
Yeah, I'm listening.
I think for the most part, we're probably going to shut up for this and let the game do the talking.
I love the chat.
It was funny.
That storm over there looks so mean.
You've got a question whether we should be driving towards that.
Welcome to Teotihuacan. We're slightly too late for this festival, I'm afraid. The name means place of the roads of the gods. Going left here. Looks like we've got the storm god's attention.
Rami, are you sure we should be heading into the storm?
A bit of rain is nothing to fear, my friend. The Maya know that.
Are they putting voices on the actual... If they are, that is amazing.
You're doing okay up there?
Don't worry, I am still in complete control. Actually, I am not in complete control.
Oh no 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 no.
You know what? Let's not fly directly into that storm. Horizon Bravo 9er, I'm putting down in the jungle.
One of those things where it's clearly not a race, but yet you still have to race.
Yo, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I saw that, Marco.
Touchdown.
Ramiro, are you okay?
Never better. Any landing you walk away from is a good one. I'm down next to some kind of flooded temple. I'll send them a flare. No one's been here in a while. Look, even the excavations are abandoned. An expedition to a lost city. Rediscovered by you, Horizon Festival.
Hey, Rami, I think I'm gonna take a look around. Find somewhere to put the beacon.
Do not let me interrupt your Mesoamerican history lesson, my friend. You can come and get me when you're ready.
So this bit drops the pace a little now. So that first bit was obviously quite high octane. We were chasing Rami in his plane. We were heading out towards the jungles, but we found this ancient ruins site now, and we're heading out to have a little bit of a little moment to explore, to soak it in, to see what secrets we can find.
This has been here for
Stunning.
thousands.
Any eagle-eyed viewers will know that this is one of the ruins we went through in one of the very early episodes of these live streams as well.
I think I found just the place for that Horizon Pulse radio beacon.
Nice.
Yeah, so I really like the change of pace in this. It's one of my favourite things about expeditions. These exploration zones, I think they're just really nice to really soak in the atmosphere.
Beacon is up and transmitting. Work.
Yeah,
Now
so we've
at
got
least
that
someone
list of
knows
challenges
where
on
we
the side
are.
of the screen there. They are optional. You don't have to do them if you just want to.
Honestly, that's still cool.
Back to the drive, but it's definitely more fun if you do it.
Absolutely.
So I've found the photo point, guys. If you want to come over and we'll all pose.
Found the golden statue.
Oh, I want to join in.
Babe!
I mean, this is actually 6-player co-op, Charlie. So if you were in the
Maybe next
building, yeah, we
time.
could have done it. We
Maybe
could have
next
handed
time
you a
we'll
pad.
fashion away, because I've not played yet and I'm absolutely desperate.
I'll take photo.
You want me to go through photo mode to take it?
Yeah.
We lined up nicely. Oh no, Marco's.
Marco's
Do it.
He's
struggling.
doing it. All right. Here we go.
There you go.
Let's get this lined up nicely. One to remember the
Oh,
stream.
look at that.
Nice.
That's a great shot.
We should clarify that you should definitely not read anything into that number on screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is very much from a dev build and not a thing that you should read too much into.
Okay.
Right, let's have an explore around. We need to get to the top of the central ruin.
This music's stunning, by the way. The atmosphere that it's building is so nice.
Wow, Rami. I think I found one of the statues.
Don't touch it. It's very
I
powerful.
think we found another. My buddies, however, are elsewhere, so
Are you not? I thought you wanted to get to the top of the central ruin. That's what you said.
I
Sound here,
did,
I'm
I
waiting
did,
for
I
you.
did, and then shiny things, Mike. Shiny things in the corner of my eye.
Shiny, shiny!
Shiny things. Oh, it told me to take a picture.
Top of the ruin.
Here we go. You're not just waiting for me to land on the top. Oh, that was
There you go.
Oh,
from
very
Total.
nice.
Over the pair of you.
Barn out there. We'll check it out later. There's the plane and our exit.
Nice. That's pretty
Nicely
cool.
done, everyone.
Here we go.
And it is not over yet.
So what's the next step then? Where do we go from here?
So we're collecting Rami, as we saw earlier on. If you pick up the feed, guys, isn't it? The Rami had to take an emergency landing. We had to then go. We kept him waiting a little bit while we explored the temples, but yeah, we went and picked him up, and we carry
Ooh.
on. I'm sure they'll be fine. That's nothing to worry about.
It's nothing for these cars, is it?
So we accidentally fell through that hole. We've landed in this little cave, this little cenote.
Yeah. It's gorgeous in here, full of atmosphere. I'm just going to have a little look around before. I should probably catch you two up there now.
Yeah, because this not a race is absolutely a race. I'm gonna lose.
And we should know I have driving line off, and I am not the player to have driving line off. This is a recipe for disaster.
You should just follow us. You should just stop being so slow. And
If you can see each other, this storm is intimidating.
Holy shoot.
It's great, isn't it? All the foliage
So
blowing
good.
across the screen. And we saw some lightning strikes.
Oh my goodness me.
Okay,
That lightning is going to make me jump every time I see it. In real life, I'm not a big fan of lightning, but that is so visceral and just right in front of you. It's
Just in case I did saw lightning once and it was scary. And it was like about, like I was, like me and my family, like me and my dad were actually driving, and I want to say about
oh wow.
100, no, yeah, I want to say like 100 miles towards the left side. We just see a lightning coming down, and we were like, "Yep."
There we go.
We have arrived.
You know, I think this will be the perfect spot.
I think you're right, my friend.
Easy to forget the
I
reason we did that
also
was
agree.
to open a new festival site.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Loads of cool new accolades as well. That'll help us on the way to the next section. Ooh, want a new car?
Ooh, snap!
Here we go.
You made it! No thanks to Ramiro, no?
They're definitely
Plane.
still fixing the
I
characters.
love the plane. That was incredible. That was so. I see what you mean about it being like a step up from the showcase, isn't it? Just being so much more than.
Put another question on there. I doubt that they're gonna read it,
Great
but
thing about
I'm
Expeditions
just
as
gonna
well
put it
is
on
that
there.
They're all completely different from one another. Each time you set on one, we're not going to spoil any of them right now, but each time you set on one, it's like you really have no idea what to expect. They're full of surprises, full of just absolute wow moments. We are, I think, going to try and keep the lid on them from now on, and so that people can experience them for themselves when they get the game in November.
Sounds good. Got that first one to sort of whet our appetite. So is
Exactly.
Marco up to something now then? Are we seeing anything else?
Yeah, I think we are now. So the reason we did that expedition was to build Horizon Apex. The reason we want to build Horizon Apex is we want to unlock a whole load of new road racing events and lead towards all of the kind of stories, showcases, finales that Horizon Apex comes with. So we've previously had a look at accolades in the road racing category. Why don't should we head back there and have a look at what's been unlocked, or should we go through the map? Because the two kind of ways you can play the campaign, really.
I think we should go through the map for now.
All right.
For now.
I know of a really nice circuit up on the east coast that I think we should go and find.
All right.
So
I think you've got control of Marco's
I
map,
do.
so,
I was looking at you thinking you had control, Mike, but I've got control. Right. I will set a route there and let Marco drive us along the way.
All right.
Perfect. I've also got more questions to ask for Marco about this wheel as well. Specifically, you said that that's your desk, that you live in it. I feel like you're the expert to answer this question, but has the wheel experience and force feedback been improved?
Yes, it has definitely been improved, and it has improved as a consequence of working on the force feedback itself, but also looking at all the micro details that we were missing in terms of calculation of force feedback, and now we definitely like improved a lot in terms of what you feel through your hands. For example, now I'm driving on the asphalt right here, and while the surface actually feels a little bit bumpy, you can also feel some bumpiness coming through the wheel as well, because all the micro oscillation happening on the tire that gets transferred into the steering rack. That is actually really cool. It actually makes you feel connected with the road. But not only, the force distributed on the wheel, we're calculating all the alignment torque, so I can definitely feel what the car is doing, if I'm having understeer, oversteer. Everything, it feels so natural and intuitive and engaging to drive with the wheel now.
Amazing. I love it. I mean, you're probably the guy to answer this question as well. We also recently unveiled the Mercedes AMG and its multiple driving modes. So I want to know what they do to the car and if you can share a bit more insight into that.
So the driving mode is really, really complex, but basically what we've done is actually mimicking everything that's happening on the real car. So when you change in the mode, you can basically switch from proper downforce, biting, grip, with the correct front aero balance on the car, to a more relaxed cruising experience into the driving mode that you can switch to. That happens actually on the exact same time and sequence that the real car does. So we really went to town in terms of like capturing every single detail that the car in a real life do in terms of drive mode. It changes the experience, it changes the feeling, it changes the actual physics of the car, and you can really transform when you're driving it.
Amazing. And I'm going to ask again, because I think I've noticed in chat some people have turned up a little bit late. How dare you guys, by the way? We've been going for 40 minutes. I wondered if you could just let people know who have just joined chat how you have actually improved and overhauled the brake system.
Yes, so...
whilst also trying to win this race.
You're asking
Simple
me a
job,
lot
I'm
today.
sure. I know. Really grilling you, aren't I?
Speaking of brakes, anyway, no, the way the brake system has improved is actually now we looking at the brake system itself. As I said before, we have now like a more data-driven calculation for the brake system as a separate entity. It's like its own entity rather than calculating the grip as a result of the grip of the car, if you see what I mean. So as a consequence of that, and I think our fan will actually love it. Now when you go and upgrade your weak brake car, you see a much bigger jump with the upgrades, which is cool. You can really transform, a bit meh car in terms of braking to a phenomenal racing car performance braking now. And that's all thanks about the new brake system. The feeling of braking is more intuitive to drive. You can judge better the brake distance. You can ease off the brake and actually use the trail braking to let the car rotate a little bit more in towards the corner, and it's just better overall, and it feels nice, it's more fun, it's more authentic. So yeah, absolutely.
And you're
loving
making it look very good as well.
Now I'm trying to win as well,
say.
so
I mean, Michael, Ben, can we get a little bit of context on what this race is that we're doing here, where it is on the map, if anyone else has just joined us?
Yeah, so this is the Playa Azul circuit. It's just a little bit north of the festival that we just opened out on the east coast. It just cuts through the little village of Playa Azul. There's this real tropical paradise out on the east coast of the map. It's an absolutely beautiful place. And how much does this just look like that? A perfect holiday resort. And it's got a really great set of corners as well. I think it's one of my favorite circuits. And I've thrown Marco into it as I was messing with the pad while I was getting him ready for this. So yeah, I put him in the Super as well, which you might not have been expecting, but wasn't expecting that, yeah.
Supra is actually great fun to drive. It's more tail happy a little bit. Most of the traction control off, so everything makes a little bit more engaging.
And then I can add to that. Kind of Mike spoke about where this is geographically, how beautiful it is, and how fun it is to drive. Completely agree with all that. And in terms of gameplay, this we're enjoying the fruits of the fact that we did the expedition and opened the new festival outpost, and it was road racing. And this is a new road racing event that we've got. Complete with tons of new accolades to earn to start kind of unlocking more chapters.
I think that's the thing I'm the most excited about. I mean, as someone who is very much trying to get to the finish line of Forza Horizon 4 at the moment, which, by the way, guys, happy to report I only have 8 achievements left in the whole game, and the drift ones are nearly done. I'm getting there. The idea of actually having a whole new map, but also with the addition of these accolades, it feels like I'm going to get this game delivered to me on November 9th, or earlier if you get the premium add-on bundle. And there's just so much for me to dive in and sort of access, but I can take it at my own pace and do what I want on any given day. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good summary of it. If Mike doesn't mind me using a term he uses with me quite a bit when we're talking about the game kind of behind the scenes, snackable is the term he uses, and that is really a very good way to describe the kind of campaign. It's really snackable. You can drop in, you can do a tiny piece of gameplay, which is like we're kind of showing here, one race, get a couple of accolades from that, maybe more if you've done some bonus ones while you've been driving, or you can kind of...
Filthy, Marco. Filthy.
That was
You got to do it, son. You got to do it.
Oh no.
Dirty racing!
Well, wonderful.
Sorry,
that was all. Yeah, no, go on. Crack on, Ben. What are you saying?
It's okay.
I was talking about, what was I talking about? Snackable campaign?
Snackable nature of the campaign.
Earn a few accolades from completing and winning a race, or you can sit there and you can decide, like you were saying, Charlie, about you've got a handful of achievements left and then you're going to kind of complete everything. You could look at an entire category like racing or kind of skills and stunts and decide that's what I'm finishing this weekend, and I'm just going to sit down and kind of steadily go through them all. That might happen after you've hit the Hall of Fame. I think that's probably the way I would recommend that people play through the game.
Horizon 5, like Horizon 4, is a massive game with absolutely tons of features and content. And honestly, we don't really expect any one player to do it all. That isn't really how we make the game.
I will. Watch this space.
Well, I hope you do, Charlie. I mean, I probably will as well. But
Yeah.
a regular player who's just
I'm
downloading the game
capable.
pass, we don't expect you to be sinking hundreds of hours necessarily to complete every single accolade in the game. But what we do hope is that every time you do play the game, even if it's only for 10 to 20 minutes, that you feel like you were rewarded. You had a really nice piece of gameplay that was really fun, enjoyable. You felt you get some progress. You unlocked something new. You had a little bit of progress towards the next goal that you're working towards. I think a lot of games can, when they are massive games, can be quite intimidating. They can feel like you've really got to sink hours and hours into them to make any kind of progress. And we really try and build a campaign that, yeah, you can sink hours and hours into it and make a load of progress, but you will also get that reward if you're just playing for 15 minutes as well, if I can get my words out.
Now, I think this is a really good segue, actually, talking about progress. So we've touched on the campaign. We've seen literally a couple thousand of the accolades that you have at the moment. And we've even dived into some Horizon Festival sites. But I wanted to bring up the car collection screen before we move on to the Q&As. A reminder, we are coming up to the Q&A, so make sure your questions are in chat now if they aren't already. So what is the car collection screen?
Before we go, any questions for Marco? Throw them at him. Any physics questions, handling questions, anything at all? Go deep as you like. So we are now looking at the car collection. So as we think about the campaign, we've talked about the kind of initial experience, the accolades, the adventure. All of that stuff carries you through the game from hour 1 to hour 2 to hour 10. But as I just mentioned, some people are going to play the game for hundreds of hours. Some people are going to set out to try and unlock all of the hundreds of cars that are available in Forza Horizon 5. And for those people, the car collection is the perfect place for them. You're getting a look at it now. It feels a bit like a sticker book or card collection. Each
that's
car,
a great
Which I don't mind that, honestly. It kind of looks sick.
Each car is represented by one of these little cards. And as you add that car to your garage, you'll see it flip over and get added into your collection. Each of the manufacturers as well also has a reward associated with it. We'll skip past it now, but with Nissan, for completing all of the Nissans, there was an exclusive Nissan that you can unlock for completing them all. We're now looking at Porsche, and again, I think we'll, if we just click through these and unlock a few of them, you can see there is a exclusive Porsche that can be unlocked there as well.
Cool.
Also, a cool feature of the car collection screen is that you can just hit Y and purchase a car with a click of a button. And just like that, you have spent 1.5 million credits.
God, it's not that easy in real life.
Yeah.
As I say, this is, it's a lot of fun throughout the game, but it really comes into its own really late game. Once you've sunk in loads of hours and you've got loads of cars already, you go into this screen and just, as you look at Porsche there's only 3 that you need to complete the set. It's so compelling to just add them all to your garage and get them all. And then, for doing so, you get yourself a Forza Edition 911.
Wonderful, very good. And I have to ask, because I'm certain chat is... I was going to say, but one very important one here, actually, because the chat, I can just see out the corner where it's burning at me. Fans have obviously been very, very eager
Going
to
crazy.
see a car list. So is there any update on when you'll actually be able to share that?
Sure, yes. So obviously you just got to see a load of cars there, and I'm sure everybody will be scrubbing back through that and scribbling down for their notes. Another place you can go to find out about cars that are coming to the game is our social channels. So you can go to @Forza Horizon on Twitter and @Forza Horizon Official on Instagram. You go there right now. I think we're dropping updates today.
Yeah, I've been actually doing all retweets and everything from all the car lists and everything, so yeah.
Yes, check our socials, check out these streams. That's where you'll find out all the latest information on the cars that are coming to the game. But it is my understanding that a lot of cars are about to be announced over on those social channels. So check those
well, there you go,
today.
everyone. Perfect. Right. So now is for arguably my favorite part of the stream, because the questions you guys are asked are significantly better than mine. Let's be honest. Up first, we're going to take the questions from chat that you've been sending over today. And the first one comes from Smallco High. It says, hey, can you tell us if clothing items will still be in wheel spins?
That is a great question, Smallco High. So the answer is...
Sorry if I'm butchering that.
So the answer to the question, the short answer is yes. The longer answer is yes, but you will now be able to purchase all common and rare clothing items with credits. So there is effectively a clothing shop where you can go and buy some beautiful clothes to dress your character, and then some of the rarer ones you'll have to get through Wheelspin or Festival Playlist or other such activities.
Perfect. Cool. So the next question from chat comes from the Cockney Charmer, who says, what has been your favorite car to drive on your favorite road so far in Forza Horizon 5? And this goes to the room. Any of you can answer this one.
I think we should let Marco lead on this one.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I think the circuit is actually phenomenal, and you can really bring like any car especially road car. I think is really, really good, especially when you get into driving S1 and S2 class car. It's really, really good fun. And also, it's really good for drifting. You can really connect all the corners right there and actually create a proper drift. So go for it.
Wonderful. Very good. Next question from chat comes from Elite Sergio, who says, is Abraham, in brackets, voice actor, working on the Spanish version of the game too?
What a great question. Yes, he is. So Abraham Vega he provides the English/Spanglish language
Spanglish.
and also the Spanish version of the character in the Mexican Spanish and regular Spanish versions of the game.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Lovely. Next question from chat is from Kyle Fed, who asks, are weekly weather changes coming back? I think we've answered this one on a previous stream, but it's always good to reiterate.
We have, you're right to say, answered this on previous streams, and the answer was yes. Seasons will still change every week, and with that, so will the weather and the world around you.
Perfect, lovely. The next question comes from JLMC McDowell, who says, will barn finds be more complex or harder to find? And will there be more of them, or will there be other exploration challenges? It's a few questions in that one. They've really packed it in.
It's a real multi-layered question.
Yeah, there really is.
I can, right, I'm trying to remember the questions. It sounded like, will barn finds be more complex or harder to find?
That's the one.
To answer that honestly, you'd have to kind of ask the person, how hard did you find the original ones in the
Yeah,
first
that's
place?
a bit subjective, right?
I think it's fair to say that barn finds are a really nice feature, and we're never planning on making that more complex, in the beauty of finding a kind of amazing old car hidden away in the world.
I would say a slight twist on it this time is that a few of them unlock in different ways. So
True,
one of them you unlock as part of a Horizon story. If you're paying close attention, you'll have noticed during that expedition, as it was Ben who we were following at the time, as he took that jump off the top of the temple, he had such a view over the jungle that he was able to spot a barn, and that gets added to his map. So when we finish that expedition, you can then go back and find that one. And there's a couple of others that have I guess interesting discovery criteria, to give it a really bland and dev-sounding term.
Which is a really, that's a really interesting way to talk about it, because I guess I didn't factor in the fact that actually getting the kind of barn find rumour to spawn is part of the difficulty. So yeah, in some ways more complex, more fun and more interesting overall. And now with us chatting about that, I've completely forgotten the rest of the.
There are lots of barn finds.
That's what I'm here for, my darling.
We won't reveal them all. We'll keep some Emma secrets, and I guess that I don't know what other questions you asked, but yeah, that's.
I think that's good. I think we've got a good answer there. Yeah. Come back for another stream if you want us to answer the second half of that question, my dear. The next question does come from Even One, who says, how close can you make the game feel like a sim, or do you consider it to still drive as an arcade/simcade-like game? Sorry if you've answered this together already.
Yes, that's for me.
It is for you. Shall I? Do you want to direct me to me to that screen you wanted to show people?
Yeah.
Is it in there?
Yeah, no,
Oh, you can.
Can I pick that?
Yeah, go on. We can bring up the feed again. Marco has some steering wheel nerd stuff to show people.
Yeah. So actually, once you've
It's a nice intro.
This is the way I was driving. So yeah, ABS is still on, but the steering is simulation. Actually, simulation for me on the steering, it feels much nicer, and yeah, you feel more attached. You feel less, you feel more responsive from the car, and you're more in control with the car. Traction control off just because it's more fun, and shifting manual just because, don't really have a shifter right here for now. But let's go through the new slider that we've added, so you can actually customize the way the force feedback and the steering wheel works. So we've added down at the bottom.
Okay then.
Let's go save. Continue settings. I think there you go. Now I'm in with the steering. There you go. So as we're turning, we always have the force feedback scale, the center spring scale, the damper scale. That hasn't changed at all, but we now changed the way the mechanical trail. So this one actually allows you to tune up or down the suspension component of the force feedback, so you can feel more at the back end or the front end. It depends what you like. It depends what you're doing. If you're drifting, just go up. And then we actually added the minimum force. Now the minimum force basically enhances a little bit the lateral force from the tires, so you feel a lot more, especially in the center point of the steering wheel. Then we have the load sensitivity, so you can tune up or down the maximum lateral force that gets sent to the force feedback, so you feel more force when you're at the peak of the grip. But ultimately, the road feel actually is split into two parts. Is the road feel for when you're on an asphalt, and off-road feel for wherever you are off-road. So you can really go down and tune every single aspect of the driving experience on the steering wheel.
Blimey, that's very intense. I hope that answered your question, even one. I think I was blooming brilliant. And the last question from chat that we will share before we dive into the Dear Forza ones, and I can't believe I'm going to say this name on stream, but here we go, everyone. Big Chungus wants to know, how many players are on one online server?
That is a really complicated question, because we've not talked about this so much, actually, but we have completely overhauled the way the Horizon Life servers work. So whereas in Forza Horizon 4, you were connected to a server with up to 71 other players to make 72 in total, it's a bit different now. You actually connect to everyone at the same time. And I didn't rehearse a good answer for describing how this fairly complicated system works. But it's much more MMO-like. So everyone now connects to the same server. And as you're traveling around, you'll be much more likely to run into people much more often. Everywhere feels, or as appropriate, places feel more packed full of people. We can tune how likely it is that you bump into other people based on whether an area should feel full of life, like a city, or is out in the jungle, where we might to tune down that density of players. So we're able to now, so everyone connects to the same server, and as you move around, you'll be bumping into people all of the time. You can team up with people, and you'll lock together and make sure that you always stick together, as we did earlier when we were playing in co-op. But as you're moving around the world, much like in an MMO, you'll be constantly bumping into different people all over the world.
Lovely. That's a brilliant answer. Well done for not rehearsing that one, Mike. Smashed it. So these questions now come from our Dear Forza request over on Twitter, which if you have missed it, make sure you go follow the social channels now, as we said, for the car list as well. So the first question comes from Roby, who asks, is there a radio station in Spanish? Just like in Forza Horizon 2, we had one in Italian and they loved it, by the way.
Did you want to take that one, or should I take that one?
I can't take it.
Sorry, Mike. So the question was about there being, is there a radio station in Spanish, as we had in Forza Horizon 2, and having different language radio stations? And the answer is we have a huge kind of Mexican influence across the radio stations. We don't have an entirely kind of Mexican radio station, but we have music all across. I think it's really, really good. Like, brilliant representation throughout, and we also have an artist, a Mexican DJ. Can I let you kind of talk about her a bit more?
Mexican-American Angelica Garcia. She is one of the artists on Horizon XS, and she is also the DJ of that station as well. So yeah, every single station has music of the Mexican diaspora infusing it, but there isn't a dedicated Mexican station.
Oh, brilliant. I love that. I think that's really cool. The next question now, chat, you're going to be set on fire here. It's the one you all want to know. All right, everyone sit down, strap yourself in. So Bjork-et wants to know, will we be able to experience the diverse atmosphere of Mexico with a demo?
So whilst we are dedicated to building the biggest and best Horizon game ever, we will not be releasing a demo. We will be sharing loads more info on the game over these streams over the coming months. And whether you're playing on Xbox, on PC, on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox One X, we will be releasing footage of all of those in the coming weeks. But for those people who do want to get their hands on the game and do want to experience it, then it will be on Game Pass across all of those platforms on day one.
Perfect. Wonderful. So the next question comes from Don One Song, who I've seen in chat, on Twitter and in chat, my goodness. And they've said, A, in the VIP pass, one of the items you get is called vanity items. What exactly is a vanity item? And B, they want to know if they can appear on the show and create events using Event Lab, #worth a shot.
So yeah, in VIP, it does come with some vanity items. That is some exclusive clothing, emote. I think there's a car horn as well. More details on exactly what that is later. There was, again, another multi-layered question there from Don Juan Song.
They're good at this.
Yeah, it's a bit cheating, really. Can he appear on the show? Yeah, I guess so. Reach out to us. Yeah, we could probably get you on. That feels like it'll be really fun. Can you make some stuff in Event Lab? Sure, yeah. Everybody is obviously welcome to create some stuff in Event Lab. One of the cool things we'll be doing this time around is taking some of those great creations and then delivering them to all players through the festival playlist. So when people make amazing experiences, races, game modes, we will then package those up and then deliver them to everybody else, so that as well as the cool stuff that we make, the cool stuff that you guys make can get delivered to everybody as well, so that you can share it with the world.
Wonderful. Okay, the next question from Twitter comes from Skippy4631. I forgot my numbers then, sorry. It says, hey, what are kudos going to be used for? Are kudos going to be like Forzathon points?
No, Forzathon points still exist. That is still what you get for completing Forzathon challenges. Kudos are a social currency, which you can earn for being one of the very coolest and socialist people in the Forza community. There's a bunch of opportunities where you help other players out that you can give someone a kudos. One of the examples is in Link. If I'm searching for a barn find and I'm in that barn find area trying to find it, then I might get Link the option to say, hey, does anyone know where this barn is? I can press that, and then maybe Ben's already found the barn, and he'll go, yeah, I know where it is. That gives me a clue on my map as to where it is, and because he's helped me out, I can go, thanks, using Link, and then it'll give Ben a kudos.
Nice.
Related to that, on that barn find,
Nice.
once I've discovered that barn, a new feature is gift drops. So once I've gone and collected that really cool barn find and I'm waiting for it to be restored, I can then go and create a barn find of my own using that empty barn. So I can take one of the cars from my garage, I can paint it, I can apply an upgrade preset, and then I can package it up and deliver it as a gift to another player, maybe someone who's just joined the game.
Oh.
And then when that
Okay, that's kind of cool.
That was really cool. That guy's really nice. I'll give him a kudos. And then I get one kudos point as well. So it acts as this kind of social currency that rewards players for doing really cool things for each other within the community.
Oh, that's lush. I love that. Very nice. Okay, next question comes from Bastian Harney, who says, hello. My question is about the props we can place in Events Lab. Are there racing theme props like maybe curbs or similar things? That would be really nice for us racing nerds who want to make nice tracks for track days.
Yes, Bastian Harney, there are. So we kind of first dabbled in this stuff in Eps.7 in Forza Horizon 4, where all the props that we gave you were really geared around making like big, stupid jumps and stunts and stuff. This time around, we've massively expanded the number of props. I don't know the exact number. Do you know it? Lots.
Not off the top of
Loads. But it does include all of that stuff that internally we call racification, which is a word that we made up to describe all of the stuff that kind of makes a race a race. So all of the barriers, flags, chevrons, grandstands, all that stuff that turns a bit of road into a race will now be in there that you can go and place yourself to create your own cool races all over the world.
Wonderful. And the last question from Twitter is from Rich Dyer, who says, my 11-year-old son, Kai, asks, will there be any cutscenes in the game? And a secret second question as well. Will there be a definitive ending to the story mode of the game? He's a big fan of the show and would love a shout out. Hello, Kai.
Hello, Kai. That was a very interesting question for an 11-year-old.
Very mature.
Will there be
I
a
love
definitive
it.
end to the game? I think your dad's added that on as well.
He's flourished somewhat.
So will there be cutscenes, I think was the question. Yes.
Yes.
The game opens with a really cool cutscene that kind of introduces you to Mexico. There is a cutscene when you arrive at the festival for the first time, which we actually cut out when we ran through it last week. But that introduces you to all of the main characters, such as Ramiro and Haley and Alejandra. And then as you're playing through things like Horizon Stories, Expeditions, there are like 100 more. Yeah, there's loads.
Wow.
There are loads more. And will there be a definitive end to the game?
I can take that
yeah,
one.
do you
If
want
you'd
to
like.
go on?
Yeah. Just heading back to cinematics, we saw some really amazing ones in the expedition that we were running through earlier. If you haven't watched them, rewind and watch the rest of the show because it's really good. Definitive end. I think the real answer is no. There isn't a point at which the game goes kind of roll credits, you've finished. There is the goal of the campaign. We said it's reaching the Hall of Fame. But when you get to that point, there's still loads to do. There's all the accolades, there's loads of content still to complete. And that's before we talk about all of the updates and the new things we'll deliver after the game launches in the way that we've kind of done in the past, all the cool stuff that we add on. So I think, long story short, definitive end, no. Yeah,
No
we'll
such
go with
thing.
no.
Yeah, and I would repeat as well, we don't really expect any one person to do all of that stuff. We make probably thousands of hours of stuff, and I think that you should really feel that you just pick your way through that. Pick the things that you love to do. Festival Playlist this time has loads more discovery stuff. There's treasure chests in there and things like that. So even if you're not much of a racer, there's loads of things in there to keep you going back week after week and give you explory things to do in the world, or things like that. So there's something for everyone.
Wonderful. And talking about coming back week after week, that's the end of the show. So you'll have to come back to another one to find out what we're talking about next. You can also keep up with all the latest Forza Horizon 5 news, updates, and details on more Let's Go live streams in the future by following Forza Horizon socials channels. We've said it a couple times. You really should go do it. And please tune into the Forza channels tomorrow for Forza Monthly for all the latest news on the Forza universe. But for now, thanks so much for tuning in for today. We will see you next time. Adios.